This week, I want to talk about love, specifically self-love, and what that really is for us. Self-love. What do we all think it is? We often think it's pampering ourselves, being nice to ourselves, avoiding painful things, preventing bad things from happening to us, um, that kind of stuff. We tend to equate, especially in codependency, tend to equate love with comfort or with pleasure or with safety, and sometimes with power. And these are what Greg Bear calls imitation loves. Real self love, though, is actually kind of backwards from what we believe it to be. Self love is founded on the idea that we understand and respect ourselves first. Okay? So if I'm going to be loving to myself, I am going to understand my limitations, my preferences, and my don't wants. I'm going to know what I want to have long term, and then I'm going to say yes or no to things that contribute or don't contribute to that long term. Let's put this in a framework of a relationship, for instance. If I'm out dating and I meet somebody I'm really into, but then we start, developing a relationship, and down the road I learn that this isn't going to work for me, what's the loving thing to do there? I mean, I'm going to cause myself and her a lot of pain by leaving the relationship. Is that loving? I'm going to have to deal with aloneness, maybe a little loneliness. I'm going to have to deal with the grief of it, maybe even some guilt for it. I'm going to have to deal with dating again. Is that loving? See, a lot of times we think that loving is about avoiding those kind of things. It's like, oh no, be loving if I didn't, feel pain, or I wasn't going to upset myself or upset someone else. No. Love for ourselves and love for others is founded on the understanding of who we are and what makes us happy. And real love is about saying no, even though it's going to cause pain. Even though there's discomfort in the experience, real love will say, hey, I'm sorry, I can't go forward with this because it's not going to work for me long term. That's hard for us to deal with sometimes. That's hard for us to accept. But that is loving. Loving is saying no to things despite the pain that we'll experience and other people will experience with it. Real love will also say yes to things that make sense for us, that build us up, that empower us. Even though those things may scare us to death, they're completely outside of our comfort zone, they may fail, so, failure's on the horizon there, it's a possibility. It may disappoint a lot of people. It may require us to change a lot of things in our lives, but that's what self-love does. It's not just how we feel about ourselves, and it's not just the flowers of joy and play and intimacy. It's how we do the difficult thing for ourselves. When we know what we want, and we'll choose it by saying yes to it, even though it's going to be difficult, even though it's going to cause us discomfort. Now, I grew up with a panic attack and with severe chronic depression. So doing a lot of things, with a chronic anxiety disorder is scary all the time. I remember buying ice cream and my heart's just at 100 beats a minute because, that's somehow scary. But I did it because I wanted ice cream. I would go out on dates because I wanted to go out on a date. I would pursue business ventures because I wanted to, even though they scared me so badly. I've come a long way from that, and it's liberating for me. Oh, but it's a big deal when we choose ourselves and we love ourselves, even though things are scary and difficult. That's what love really is. It's the same thing with our interpersonal relationships. Intimacy and love is found in the difficulty. It's found in the shit, not in the flowers of chemistry and joy alone. Those are important, they're valuable, but they're just one segment of this huge gamut of love. So this week, I want you to check in and see, how am I loving myself, and where am I not, and what do I need to change there? And then let me know. Share below what you discover, and let's see what starts to change in your life when you start choosing you first from self-love. Okay? Thank you guys. You guys have a great week. We'll talk next week.